Okay, so before we put the brakes on, I need to get this whole brake assembly or the backing plate slid out so that I can remove this shaft right here and replace the bushing which presses into this housing right there. So we got about 10 bolts to remove here. They're usually pretty tight. I got them soaked with WD-40, and as you can see, cleaned everything. I really hope that doesn't ruin the threads. The other side wasn't that bad. Go figure. Like I said before, when you're making a video, everything goes wrong. When you're doing an off video, everything goes perfect. Anyway, I got to remove all 10, I think it's 10 of these bolts. And I'm not going to film all that. There's what you can expect from the first one at least. Be back with you when I get rid of, get all the rest of these. Oh, go get that lock washer off. As predicted, this side is being a lot more stubborn than the other side because I didn't try to make a video out of the other side, and I'm trying to make one out of this one. But the trouble I had was this stud right here kept spinning on me. I ended up grabbing a hold of it with vice grips, and it still spun it out of the vice grips. So I filed a little flat, grabbed it again, heated that nut up, and it came off, but you can see what the threads look like. And let's see if the axle pops out as easy as the other side. Going by the luck I've had so far this morning, it won't. So we'll see. But I'm going to just try it like I did the other side, and we'll see what happens. And the whole idea of taking this off is getting that shaft out so I can replace that bushing. Alright. Here's what I did to the other side. Oh, okay. Okay, this one's come loose. And I'm just going to pull it out enough to get this shaft out of here. And I think I need to remove the cutter key. I also need to get some of that oil coming out. And something. A little bit too late now, just lay a rag down there. That's pretty much all it's going to drip out. I don't think you can see it. Okay. What I need to do is remove this cotter pin, which is so rusty I could probably break it off with my fingers. Good thing I got a cotter pin kit. Not special order for the tractor, but I don't even know if it's a cotter pin. I think it's a piece of wire. Anyway, you get the gist of it. Let's see if I can get this thing out of here. As rusty and fragile as it is, you don't want to come off. There we go. Do that. Stick that back in there. And pop my axle out a little more. And there it goes. And in order to get this shaft out, this hole is slotted. You see that keyway there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the shaft where that can be worked out of there, just like that. Now, got to clean that up. And your watered out bushing is in there. I'm going to get all that grease out of there, clean it out. I'll probably hog the old bushing out with a die grinder, and it should come right out. Okay, Okay, I seen something on the end of this shaft here. The other side wasn't like this. It was in a lot better shape. You can see it's pretty much just corroded away. And the bushing would help some. I may try to, I'm tempted to try to weld it up and work it back in. May have to do that. So more work than I was planning. You know, this all started out with a flat tire. So I just replaced the tires, seen it needed new brakes, and I said, well, I can replace these bushings. Well, I got that apart, and now I got to do this. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put the new bushing in. And, yeah, I may try to weld that up and work it back in. Can't really effectively put it in the mill and get it really true, so it's probably not going to be perfectly centered, but it'll be better than it was. So we'll see about that. The proper way to fix it would be to weld it up and stick it in a lathe. So I could take it to work and do that, but it's hard to do stuff like that at the place that I work. The place that I used to work, you could do that and nobody would cry about it. Where I work now, all eyes are upon you. And it's not even the management that's a problem. But long story, not going to get into that. But, yeah, we're going to see what we can do about that. Okay, before I try to repair that shaft, I'm going to go ahead and get this old bushing out. I've dug all the dirt out. Now, I don't know if there's a plug back here or if that's an actual, I think I do know what it is. This back surface, once you dig all the dirt out, it's this surface here. You can see the housing bolts to it. I was worried that there was a plug back there that could get corroded or you can accidentally knock it in, but I don't think that's the case. I think this is just this surface of this case which this housing bolts to. But instead of chiseling it out, I found to do less damage to the board, and you don't tear it up if you just take a die grinder. Try to work around the camera here, and if you can just break through the bushing, should hopefully make it come in. Just make sure you don't dig into the case and cause a leak. Yeah, and you can see the difference in the color from the brass and the cast iron or steel or whatever the housing's made out of. I can tell I'm already breaking through in the back, which is what I want to do. Try to keep your bit as straight as you can get it. And since this is not going to seal it from any oil leaking through, it doesn't hurt if you touch the casting or the bore a little bit. Not going to hurt a thing, especially for what this bushing does. And almost there. I think I saw it move. And let's see if I can just hit the other side and make it fall out. Aha, look how sweet that works. That's the way to get them out of that. Oh, look at that. Now it is loose and it comes right out. That's much easier than chiseling it, in my opinion. Now, before I push the bushing in, I'm going to attempt to weld up that shaft. Now, I did see a used shaft on eBay for I think $59, and it had a good end in it. But I'm going to try to fix mine because I want this together this weekend. Okay, I decided to glob a weld on this thing, and It won't be pretty, it won't be perfect, but it will work, and you won't be able to see it when it's done. After that cools off, I'll take it over to my disc sander. I don't know if you can see it because the stupid light coming through the garage door. Right there. And I'll basically use this part of it as a guide because I think that is also the 1-inch diameter or whatever it is, same as this, and that's supposed to be like a ball shape with a recess in there, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and that'll be up inside the bushing when I'm done. So let's let it cool down and we'll see how that works out. Let's see how this works. I've already cleaned it up a little bit, put a new pad on. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to be pretty, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. We're already fitting. Actually, it's probably a little tight because it's spreading my bushing apart. That bushing is already split. There we go. That's feels just as good as the other one did with the undamaged rod. Now I'm going to put a radius. First I'm going to clean the end up. Radius on there. Remember, originally it was a ball on the end of this. Yeah, I think that might work. I could try to clean this up, but I don't think I will. You won't be able to see it once it's all done. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drive this bushing in while that cools off. We'll see how it fits after the bushing's driven into the tractor. Alright, let's get this beat in. Now, these bushings, like I said, are split. Where is it? Right there. So you want to make sure that it's not overlapped when you put them in there. Just going to, hopefully it'll stay in place until I tap on it. Making sure it don't overlap. Looking all the way in there flush. Now, let's see how our shaft goes in. Probably going to have to move the camera on you. See how it fits. I'm going to pull my axle out a little more so I can stick it straight in. Yep, it swelled it together a little bit, so I got to take a little more off my shaft. Alright, I think we got it. It's not supposed to be really tight. It's not like it's a bearing or a bushing. The shaft's going to be spinning at 3,000 RPM. It just keeps this thing steady when the brakes are actuated. And that's about right. You want it kind of loose because if it gets dirty, there's no seal to protect it. I'm going to fill it up with grease, of course. But I think we got it. Not bad for hand working it in. Not bad at all. Like I said, if I really wanted to get picky, I could clean that up, but you're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to put the arm back on it, and we can start going back together.